Here call the May 7th 3 p.m. meeting of the DeSoto County Board of Education to order. First item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Sheila Riley, if you would please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item of business is to approve the agenda for the May 7th meeting that you have before you this evening. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda as you have before you? Not yet. Recommendations.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
All right, superintendent's recommendation to approve the agenda before you. Do we have a motion to that effect?
I made that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it, the agenda is approved, as you have before. All right, next item of business is superintendent's report. Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to start out today and talk about Teacher Appreciation Week, especially with all that we have going on with COVID-19, how hard our teachers have been working. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. As always, we want to thank our teachers and our teacher assistants for all of their hard work. We've seen a lot of activity out there as far as principals, administrators, staff, and parents who have been going above and beyond to thank our teachers. And we want to thank our teachers every day, not just this week, but I did want to make a special mention of that and tell our teachers and our teacher assistants how much we appreciate them. Also, I have two items for executive session that I'll ask the board members to consider at that time. I've got early graduation request, and I also have a personnel contract matter that I'll ask the board to consider, and that will conclude my superintendent.
Attorney's report.
Yes, sir. I have one item to address with the board. It's a personnel contract matter, and we need to do that in executive session.
All right. Next item of business is the approval of the minutes from the April 16th board meeting and the April 20th special call board meeting. Any amendments or corrections to either one of those minutes that you have before you? Not, do we have a motion for approval?
I make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it. The minutes from the April 16th meeting and the April 20th special call meeting are approved. All right, the next item of business is the consent agenda, and that contains item GG.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask for item C on the consent agenda to us to strike that this time.
Okay. superintendent has asked that item, C on the consent agenda be struck, from the meeting records. With that, having been requested, your recommendation.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda with the edit of the strike of C.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation to approve the consent agenda item with having struck item C. Do we have a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it. The consent agenda, items A through GG are approved with the exception of striking number C. Okay, next item of business is new business. I think, Mr. Williams, you've got most of those. Where's Mr. Williams? All right. He's missing in action.
Good afternoon.
Okay, we're down to new business, Mr. Williams, and I think you got the first 6 or 7 of whatever. Okay, item A, is bids, camera systems for school buses. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. We opened up bids on April the 15th for a school camera system for our school buses. Had 2 vendors that submitted bids. My recommendation to go with the lowest and best bid from Empire Truck Sales LLC.
Okay, based on Mr. Williams' recommendation to go, you said LLC?
Yes, sir.
Okay, LLC on the bids for camera systems for school buses. Your recommendation, Mr. Williams.
Mr. President, I recommend to the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Empire Truck Sales LLC for camera systems for school buses.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the low bid, do we have a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it, the bid is accepted. Item B, bids, desktop computers, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. We opened bids on April the 29th for desktop computers for the district. Had 2 vendors that submitted bids. My recommendation is to accept the lowest and best bid from Ace Computers.
Ace.
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 Ace hardware.
Okay, Ace Computer. All right, based on Mr. Williams', presentation and recommendation for the low bid from Ace Computers, your recommendation, Mr. Austin.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Ace Computers for desktop computers.
Based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the low bid, do we have a motion to that effect?
So move.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it, low bid from Ace Computers is accepted. Item C, re-roof project, Fernando Middle School, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Bids were opened on March the 34th for the re-roofing project at Fernando Middle School. Bids were received from 9 vendors. My recommendation is to accept the lowest and best bid from Advantage Roofing and Construction.
Advanced Roof. Advanced. Okay. Based on Mr. Williams' recommendation to accept the low bid from Advantage Roofing and Construction, the recommendation, Mr. Osborne.
Mr. President, I recommend to the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Advantage Roofing and Company for the re-roof project at Fernando Middle School.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval, do we have a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it, no bid from Advantage Roofing is approved. Next item of business, the contractual agreement, Advantage Roofing and Construction. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, we're requesting permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Advantage Roofing and Construction for the re-roofing project at Fernando Middle School.
Stone. Based on Mr. Williams' presentation to accept the contractual agreement to Advantage Roofing and Construction from Fernando Middle School. Your recommendation, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Advantage Roofing and Construction for the re-roofing project at Fernando Middle School.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval, do we have a motion to that effect?
Make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it. The contractual agreement is approved. Next item, number E, is turf replacement, Olive Branch High School. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, bids were open on April 21st for the turf replacement at Olive Branch High School on the football field. It's my recommendation to accept the low bid from T3 Global Projects.
T3
Yes, sir.
Global. All right, based on Mr. Williams' recommendation to accept the low bid from T3 Global Projects, your recommendation, Mr. Austin.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from T3 Global Projects for the turf replacement at Olive Branch High School.
All right, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval, do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it. Turf replacement at Olive Branch High School is approved. Number F, contractual agreement, D3 Global Projects. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, we're requesting permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with T3 Global Projects Incorporated for the turf replacement project at Olive Branch High School.
All right. Based on Mr. Williams' presentation, recommendation to enter into the contractual agreement with T3 Global Projects. Your recommendation, sir.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with T3 Global Projects for the turf replacement at Olive Branch High School.
Based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval, do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it, contractual agreement, low T3 Global Projects is approved. Next item of business, emergency purchases under paper. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, in your package, you see purchase order for protective supplies. The name of the end is so great for these supplies now, that we can't get vendors to bid on. So we had this company call and say that they had some ready available, and so we made that purchase.
Okay. Based on Mr. Williams' explanation of the reason for the emergency purchases of the paper, your recommendation, Mr. Superintendent.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the emergency purchase under paper.
Okay, based on Mr. Austin's recommendation for approval, do we have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it, the emergency purchase paper is approved. Okay. Item H is a request to pay a vendor for purchasing road issue, Olive Branch Intermediate School. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. We have a principal, Jenny, Olive Branch Chamber of Commerce meeting. She did not realize that that meeting was separate from her membership. And so she's asking that the board give her permission now to go back and write a PO and pay for her attending that event.
Based on Mr. Williams' explanation of the request to pay a vendor purchasing road issue, your recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the payment of the vendor for the purchase and rental issue at Olive Branch Intermediate School.
Based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval, do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it. The request to pay purchasing road issue is approved. Item I is request to reimburse employee central services. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. In our attempt to be diligent with our business owners, we were mailing packets to our EL students. And our sales here measured out a certain amount of postage. We got to the post office and that amount was not enough, so the employee paid out per pocket for us to send the packets off. And we're asking the board permission to reimburse her for the money that she spent to get those packets out to students.
That's great. Either we are or the post office don't have to buy new scales.
I think we're working on getting.
Thanks for that explanation, Mr. Williams. Based on Mr. Williams' explanation of the request to reimburse the employee on postage, the recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the reimbursement of employee central services.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for reimbursement to the employee, do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay? Ayes have it. The request to reimburse an employee is approved. All right. Thank you, Mr. Williams. We appreciate that. Here is Ms. Graves.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. There she goes. Thanks.
Okay, Ms. Graves, you've got the next 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Statement of revenue and expenditures.
Okay. Through March of 2020, our general fund revenues are at $212,162,935. At budget revenues of $254,032,866. We are 84%. If you compare that to last year, we're up 9% in our revenues at $194,618,797. Again, this is every month that's due to ad valorem and our MAP. We are up in our ad valorem actually over $3.5 million at this point compared to last year. All funds received, we're at $252,404,486 compared to last year at $239,666,863. So we're up 5% overall. Our general fund expenditures, we're at $174,281,966. Compared to last year, FY19, $163,003,971. We're up 7%, but that's actually a little bit less than we anticipated in our budget. Our all funds expenditures are $230,374,711. Total budget expenditure of $381,639,804. So we're right at 60%. As of the March close, you're not going to see really any change. We get a lot of people that ask about our savings for COVID. So March is not the report that you're really going to see much of anything since it was about half the month. Since we're still, paying under emergency closure leave, the main savings you're going to see over the next couple of months are going to be the substitutes, gas, some utilities and things like that. But most of the budget is still going to move forward as originally planned.
Any questions, of any board member of Ms. Graves on the statement of revenue and expenditures? Not your recommendation, Mr. Superintendent.
Mr. President, I recommend to the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for March 2020.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for March 2020, do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, statement of revenue and expenditures for March 2020 is approved. Next item on the agenda, statement of cash flow for March 2020, Ms. Graves.
Our district cash balance at this point is $123,021,666. Of that, with Ms. Shellnut, we have $27,827,365. Our all funds cash balance is at $195,724,683.
Very good, thank you. Questions, comments of Ms. Graves? Not your recommendation, Mr. Austin.
Mr. President, I recommend to the board to approve the statement of cash flow for March 2020.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation to approve statement of cash flow, do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it, statement of cash flow for March 2020 is approved as presented. Next item of business is the combined balance sheet for March 2020. Ms. Gray.
The fund balance for all general funds for March is $128,327,713, which is about 65% of all funds. Our all funds balance is at $196,127,106. If we compare the current general fund balance to last year we were at $160,078,616. We are up 11%, which is again mainly due to AFNOR and MAP. Plus, since we're always very conservative, but we have tried to preserve as much as we can in the fund balance for the next 2 to 3 years to come due to the pandemic. So we're very fortunate to be in the situation we are.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments of Ms. Graves? Not your recommendation, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for March 2020.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation to approve our combined balance sheet for March 2020. Do we have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Motion having been made, do we have a second? Motion and second having been made. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay? Ayes have it. Combined balance sheet for March 2020 approved as presented by Ms. Gray. Next item of business is the certification of bank reconciliation for March 2020. Ms. Gray.
All bank statements have been reconciled with no exceptions.
Okay. Based on Ms. Gray's statement of certification of bank reconciliation, the recommendation, Mr. Austin.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for March 2020.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the certification of bank reconciliations, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay? Ayes have it, certification of bank reconciliation is approved. Ms. Graves, I just want to say, we appreciate very much what your department does. It's outstanding, but these are uncertain times for the future, so.
Everybody's been really on board about doing what we need to do to help. It's not about just this year, it's about next year and the next. So everybody's definitely been on board.
We don't have a crystal ball, and you don't have a crystal ball, all we can do is hope.
That's right.
All
Right now, Ms. Graves is working to plan our budget for next year, and we have not got our, not revenue from the state yet. Obviously, the legislature hasn't been in session, so right now, we're kind of shooting at a moving target as far as trying to decide the budget. But Ms. Graves and I have talked several times about us preparing not only, as you said, for this year, but also the next 2 years, because we don't know what the tax will look like. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Ms. Graves, great presentation. Next item of business is the revised board policy IHA rating system. Ms. Weeks.
Requesting a revision to board policy IHA grading system to revise the requirements for exemption in grades 6 through 8 and grades 9 through 12. In grades 6 through 8, we would like to revise the policy to say that if the student has 95 or better, that attendance is not an issue with an exemption. If the student has an 85 or above for the semester average, then 5 and no more than 5 unexcused absences for final exams, they can be exempt. So those are changes there. Excused absences would not count toward exemptions. We just feel like in light of our current situation and increased illness, that this would be a good decision. In grades 9 through 12, very similar. If the students have 95 or better, absences are not included. If the student has an 85 or above and no more than 4 unexcused absences per semester, and no more than 2 per term course. And then excused absences would not impact exemptions.
Any questions, comments of Ms. Graves on the revised board policy IHA rating system? Got your recommendation, Mr. Crawford?
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy IHA, the grading system.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the revised board policy IHA grading system, do we have a motion to that effect? Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made for approval. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Nay, ayes have it. Revised board policy IHA grading system is approved. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Next item of business on the agenda is personnel. Pages 1 through 18.
Yes, sir. Pages 1 and 5, same news recommendations. Page 6 through 8 is personnel changes. Page 9 is a memo from the SCOS, our Director of Special Education. It's changing a data support position from 205 to 230-day position. This currently 205, we're adding responsibilities and asking that this position be classified at 230. Pages 10 through 12 is a job description for that position. Page 13 is a memo from the SCOS. It's requesting that an employee trained for this position as a data support clerk. She's trained for 5 days. That will begin 5/22 and end at 5/29. And she'll be paid at her current hourly rate during this time. Page 14 is a request for additional pay for Ms. Green, our Director of EL, on approval of the EL department to use Title III funds to create supplemental literacy resources. Total hours of work will be up to 114. This will begin on 5/26 and end on 5/29. These employees will be paid $27 an hour. Page 15 is a list of those teachers that will be working on resources. Page 16 through 18 is a job description for Director of Athletics. Basically, it's the same, that this will now be a part-time position. In your handout part, page 1, so your board packet, the handout you have, page 1 is a memo for Mr. Usselton, the superintendent, on administrative changes for the 2021 school year. All of these changes will go into effect July the 1st. Pages 2 through 4 is a job description for assistant superintendent accreditation and advanced academics. Pages 5 through 7 is a job description for assistant superintendent of academic services. Pages 8 through 10 is a job description for assistant superintendent of operations. Pages 11 through 13 is a job description for assistant superintendent of human resources. Pages 14 through 16 is the job description for Executive Director of Academic Support and School Improvement. Pages 17 through 19 is the job description for Director of Elementary Education. Pages 20 through 22 is the job description for Director of Secondary Education. Pages 23 through 25 is the job description for Executive Director of Safety and Risk Management. Pages 26 through 29 is the job description for Director of Student Intervention and Programs. Pages 30 through 32 is the job description for Data to Instruction Intervention Specialist. Pages 33 through 35 is the job description for Professional Development and Student Support. Pages 36 through 38 is the job description for Community Outreach Coordinator. Pages 39 through 41 is the job description for the head nurse. Pages 42 through 44 is the job description for gifted education. Gifted education, and then page 45 is an informational, but it will sum up those changes that have gone over in the handout.
Any questions or comments, and Ms. Pounds, that anything that he has brought forward for the personnel? Not your recommendation, Mr. Russell.
Mr. President, I recommend the board to approve personnel as presented.
Okay, based on the superintendent's recommendation for approval of personnel as presented, do we have a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Motion having been made, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second having been made, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay. Ayes have it, personnel as presented is approved. Since this is the first meeting, regular scheduled meeting of the board, if there's anyone here that needs to address the board on any item, we have 5 minutes. Okay, well, no one wishes to address the board. Is Ms. Griffin here? Pardon?
That's it.
That's
Yes,
her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Since you have a student matter, you will be addressed in executive session, closed session.
Okay.
Okay. Board will call you in, closed session. Okay. Yeah. Superintendent wishes to speak to us.
This time I have a group of people that I'm going to be introducing to everyone in attendance today. First of all, we've been conducting principal interviews and going through applications over the last 2 months. We had 33 assistant principals inside of our district that applied for principal jobs this year. I want to thank everyone that applied, and also want to thank the interview committee. We wish we had jobs for everyone. We've got great assistant principals throughout our district, and at the same time, we've got a lot of great assistant principals coming up through the ranks that will do a great job as principals in the future. We're very fortunate. I get calls from time to time from superintendents that are interviewing applicants for principal jobs, and they're interviewing applicants from outside of their own district. But we're very fortunate here to have such a great group, and they've really been working hard to continue through leadership development to become stronger and stronger administrators. I feel like our team gets stronger every year. But we have got with us today the newest principals in America. They're right here in the room with us, and I want to introduce those to you at this time. And they can just stand up when I call their name, and they want to say a few words, and also introduce their family who is here with them. I'm going to actually start with a current principal who is going to be going to a new position this upcoming school year. That'll be the principal of Olive Branch Middle School, Mr. Chris Perkins. He will be the principal of Lewisburg High School.
Thank you very much, Mr. Russell, to the school board. I appreciate again, another opportunity to serve this district in a greater capacity. I appreciate all your support so far this year, and again, just like last year, I want to thank my family, my wife, and my 2 sons for their support this first year, and I know they're going to just take it right on up to the picture right up there, so thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Perkins is a military man, so he's a patriot already. We appreciate your service. There, so that's wonderful. He's done a great job at Olive Branch Middle School, and I know he'll do a great job at Lewisburg High School. This time, I'd like to introduce the new principal of Center Hill Elementary School. She is currently the assistant principal of Center Hill Elementary School, Ms. Kristen Hale.
Thank you, Mr. Usleton. Good afternoon, board. I'm looking forward to this opportunity, so I appreciate it very much. I have my family here, my very supportive husband, Dr. Harold Hale, and my 2 talented sons, Cassie, 16, and Trevor, 8. So thank you.
Ms. Hill has done an outstanding job at Center Hill Elementary School, and she served as assistant principal under Ms. Sissy Hyman, also Ms. Rebecca Dearden, too. And so she has a long history there at Center Hill, and we know that she'll do a great job there. This time, I'd like to introduce the new principal of Fernando Hills Elementary School. She'll be coming from Olive Branch Middle School. That's Ms. Wendy Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Usleton, and thank you to the board. I have my family here with me today. And my 3 children, Eli, Maddie, and Sam. Sam is currently at Fernando High School, and my older 2 are graduates of Fernando, so I'm really excited to have this opportunity to be working in Fernando as well. So, and I have my husband here with me, Davey, also. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Michael's done a great job at Olive Branch Middle. That was her first secondary experience. She's been an elementary teacher and worked in elementary schools, and so that'll be a good fit there at Fernando Hills. I know she'll do a wonderful job. This time, I'd like to introduce the new principal of Horn Lake Intermediate School. That will be assistant principal of Lake Horn Middle School, Dr. Crystal Robinson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Usleton, and to the board. To Ms. Riley and Ms. Jolly, I especially look forward to working with you too. I appreciate your support and I look forward to your input. I'm here today with my husband, Dale One. We did not bring our 3 daughters, keep them quarantined pretty well. We didn't bring them with us today, but they're very excited at home and we appreciate this opportunity so much. I have to say this, I'm very excited about going back to Horn Lake. I've been 3 years. I've been down in Lake Horn. I have loved being a Gator, but my teacher's heart belongs to Horn Lake. That's where I started. Mr. George Loper took the opportunity and offered me a position teaching inclusion, and he was a great company to work under. He really helped me build my work ethic. And next, I was so fortunate to have Mr. Van Alexander as my head principal, and I really became the teacher that I am because of him. And I appreciate that always, and I try to always let them know that. So I'm very excited to be returning back. I look forward to working with all of Horn Lake's staff. I'm still very close with them, including Mr. Tunkett. And I told Mr. Tunkett when I left and was offered the position there at Lake Horn, I'm keeping all of my gear. Usually, turn their gear over to other teachers. You know, they give their t-shirts and all their stuff away. And I told Mr. Tunkett that day, I said, I'm not getting rid of it. Because I don't know how, but somehow I'm going to return back to Horn Lake. So I appreciate the opportunity to be an Eagle once again. Thank you so much.
Dr. Robinson's done a wonderful job, not only as a teacher, but also as an assistant principal. And we look forward to seeing all that she accomplishes there at Horn Lake Intermediate School. Next up, we have the assistant principal of Fernando Middle School. She'll be taking the role of principal at South Haven Intermediate School. That's Miss Sarah Jane Russell.
Good afternoon. I wanted to echo my peers and thank you to Mr. Usleton and the board. I've worked with Ms. Riley and Ms. Jolly in the past, and I'm very excited to work with Ms. Henley and Ms. Riley again. So thank you, and I brought my husband, Will, and my son, Reed, and my daughter, Sarah Bell, and I'm leaving them in the hands of Mr. case. They're all yours. Take care of them. Call me if it's an emergency. Thank you again.
Ms. Russell's going to do an outstanding job at South Haven. She not only was assistant principal at Fernando Middle with Dr. Jerry Flo, but also worked with Ms. Rhonda Geis as assistant principal at Lake Corner High School. So we appreciate all that you've done so far. Look forward to seeing all you accomplished there. This time, a minute ago, we introduced Mr. Perkins, who will be leaving the position at Olive Branch Middle School. We have the new Olive Branch Middle School principal in attendance with us. He will be coming from Horn Lake Middle School, where he's been serving as assistant principal, and that is Mr. Adam Sykes. Fan club there.
Thank you, Mr. Albertson. Thank you, Board. Have this pleasure. Me and Mr. Perkins came to be assistant principals at the same time. We've been good friends ever since we were in the same church, and so we've had wonderful conversations throughout the year. And then we've just been in close contact this year when we got the head principal job at Olive Branch. So this is an awesome opportunity to get to pick up where he left off. Since he didn't get to finish this year, I feel bad that he didn't get to, but I'm looking forward to it. I brought my wife, Kim, my two little girls, Lily and Carrington. Lily's 5, Carrington's 8, and then both my parents, Don and Deborah Sykes. My dad is currently an elementary school kindergarten teacher at Horn Lake Elementary, and my mom just retired 2 years ago to come watch our youngest daughter. She was a 31-year educator down at Jackson Public Schools, where she was an elementary school teacher and librarian. So, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing all that you accomplished. And Mr. Sykes not only was assistant principal at Horn Lake Middle School, he was also assistant principal at Lewisburg Middle School, and has done an outstanding job at both places. We do a wonderful job at Olive Branch Middle School. And also, we have got the new principal at Olive Branch Intermediate School. She'll be coming from Fernando High School, where she's been serving as an assistant principal. That's Ms. Ashley Taggart.
Like I said, thank you to Mr. Russellton and to the board for giving me this opportunity. I just finished my 18th year in education, and I'm so happy to say that 15 of those years has been with DeSoto County Schools. I served as a teacher at Fernando Middle School, had some great administrators, and I've been serving as assistant principal at Fernando High School for the last 8 years under Mr. Brady Jason and Mr. Dwayne Case, and I have learned so much, and I am so happy and excited to take this next step in my adventure, and I look forward to working with everyone. I have my husband, Chad Taggart, here with me tonight, and my daughter, Sarah, who will be a junior at Fernando High School next year, so Mr. Case can wrap her on it. I appreciate y'all so much.
Ms. Taggart will do a great job. She's been an outstanding assistant principal at Fernando High School. Continue to be an outstanding administrator for Olive Branch Intermediate School. Once again, I want to thank everyone that applied for the positions. I want to thank the interview committee again. I want to thank the board for your support of our new principals, and I want to congratulate our new principals once again. You are, I can speak as a former high school principal, you are about to enter into the most challenging yet rewarding job you could possibly ever. And I'm going to go ahead of time and thank the spouses and family members who are here in attendance, because you're about to be sharing them with the school district even more than you have in the past. But I promise you, as a former principal, you're going to love it. It's a job that you can't describe unless you've been in it. So we look forward to seeing all that y'all accomplish. That's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. And thank you for these good principals that have been here tonight. We're proud of each and every one of them. Wish you the best. And we know you're going to be tremendous assets. Very successful. Thank you for being here. Okay, I think that concludes regular items. I need a motion for consideration of closed session to determine whether the board should enter into executive session for the following matters: student matters regarding early graduation, attorney's contract matter, and a request to appeal. Ms. Griffin, so do we have a motion to that effect that the board can set up closed session to discuss these items. All right, motion having been made, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Chase will come back and inform you as to whether the board will remain in executive session for those matters.